In this lesson today, I'm going to give you 3 simple tips that you can do out on the golf course that are going to turn your drives from looking something like this to something a little bit like this. Perfect little golf shot there. Right, let's get stuck into this lesson and get you driving the golf ball better. Now, our first tip is all to do with the setup. I'm yet to meet a golfer who comes to me and says, Matt, I need some help. And they get in front of me, they stand on the teaching bay, and they've got a perfect setup. I'm yet to find them. Scotty Scheffler, we see how hard he works on his, and he's still always working on it. But for us amateurs, when we're out on the golf course, one thing that we really have to lock into is how our alignment is, because alignment throws you out so much, and as soon as you do that, you've got to make huge compensations throughout your golf swing, and ultimately you're making it harder. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is alignment. Here on the 17th hole at Warrington, it's a tough driving hole, and as we look from this angle here, we can see some bunkers down the left, gorse, there's trees down the right, and it is an overall tough driving hole. But the first thing that we've got to do, always got to do, is pick a target. And what I want to do for myself a little bit more is find the middle. And you can see just out here, I've put something, this little head cover for my alignment sticks, out about 2 feet in front. And I want you to do this every time. I want you to pick something 2 feet in front of your golf ball that is running down to your intended target. So this is going to be your start line. It might not be your finish line. This is where you want to start the golf ball. You might be thinking, well, I can see for me, there is a life hoop in the distance by the pond that I've got this running to, and I'm trying to hit about a 3-yard fade onto the shed from there. So we've got to do that. The reason we do that is because once we then put our golf club in, we can now start to align everything up, and this is where it goes wrong. What I see a lot of people doing is we generally get the face okay, and if you can use alignment canes when you're practicing, I highly recommend it, because it's going to train you to start actually aiming properly. But what we see is something where, for a lot of amateurs, we get this, where we either open up too much. So I think, well, I'm a slicer, I'm going to have to aim further left, and we get something where the club is now looking to our intended target, but the body's pointing about 30 yards left. And if I swing along this line of my feet here and leave the face there, we're going to cause a massive slice like we see from the shot that we saw at the start of the video. The other polar opposite is where we make the common mistake of thinking, well, I'll align my club, all is good there, and I've now got to align my body and my feet to the same position. This could help a little bit, because you're going to be swinging from the inside a little bit more. So if you are a slicer, that could help. Not if you're going to leave the face open though, because now you're going to hit a huge push slice. So what we want to try and do is train ourselves to actually aim square. And like I say, I'm yet to meet a golfer who does this perfect every time. But if we can just go through a simple routine, we're going to get a better idea of doing it more regularly and start to hit better golf shots. So always come behind the golf ball, pick a target, and even there, those canes are wildly out for me. It's a great example. So I'm going to line these up now. That is nice and parallel. We're going to pick our target, which for me is that little head cover. We would then walk in, stand with our sternum in line with the golf ball, or our front foot if you've got a driver. We're going to take that out ever so slightly. And then from there, now we can see I match these canes, and I actually have my train track alignment. So I've got the right side of the track running to my ball to target line, and then just inside that, about 5-10 yards, I've got my body alignment. So for me, it's just inside the bunker line here, as opposed to too closed or too aggressively open. If we can do this and start to align a little bit better, we actually get a better chance of getting the right tilt, the ball in the right position, everything and being square, and actually putting a little bit more of a functioning golf swing on it. So first tip, get some alignment. Tell you what, we should end the video there, because that's the best drive I've hit. Straight down the middle. I didn't think of anything else, purely alignment. Now this second tip, I really like this one because it's so simple, yet it's possibly the most important thing that we do in the golf swing, and that is finding the sweet spot. A lot of the time we go out on the golf course, we're faced with a lot of obstacles. We've got bunkers, we've got trees, we've got gorse, we've got the wind, we've got the nerves that we actually put on ourselves about the shot that we're about to hit. We've got the pressure of trying to make par, bogey, whatever it may be. And from there, we actually forget what we're trying to do. We're trying to find the centre of the golf club, because if we do that, all that is taken care of a lot of the time. If we start hitting it really far out the toe, really far out of the heel, bottom, top, then that throws in another problem into the equation. As where one thing that I had from my coach the other day was like, well, where do you strike your driver? And I said, yeah, probably a little bit toe. He said, well, why don't you try and hit it a little bit close to the heel then? Oh yeah, that's more towards the middle, isn't it? And it makes more sense. And I think sometimes we forget the hand-eye coordination that we need to play this game. A lot of the time, like I say, we get overthought and over-invested in everything else that we're doing. So this tip here, all I simply want you to do is take the golf ball off the tee peg. Firstly, learn to align the tee out of the little marking that you've got on the top of the driver. If you haven't got one, look at where the centre of the face is on the driver. I want you to actually learn to get it out of the middle, because the amount of people, like I said at the start, who come with a poor setup and actually get it too far out of the toe, too far out of the heel. Well, if you're doing that, you've got to now try and find the middle on the way back down. If you actually get it aligned out of the centre on the start, take that good setup and just think to yourself, right, I'm going to make some practice swings, just brushing this tee and see if I can actually get the centre as I'm doing it, and just have some nice little swings. And you'll probably start to get a little mark if you're using a wooden one, but just do it at a little slower pace each time, and just try and really focus on actually hitting the middle of the golf club. I know it sounds very simple, like, yeah, well, I know that, but actually ask yourself the last time you went out onto the golf course and thought, right, I'm going to try and get it lined up out of the centre, and I'm actually going to try and hit it out of the middle. I would guess you would struggle to give me an answer on that, because you've probably been involved in, well, I need to avoid the water, I need to slice it, I need to make sure that I hit a 3-yard fade. Let's just try and actually get it out the middle. Let's give it the best chance of having straight flight by actually finding the meat of the golf club. So once you've done that and you've had some practice swings and you train that skill again, hand-eye coordination, and a great skill for this is bouncing a golf ball on your wedge. You'll train it even quicker then. Back in, think about that alignment, and let's, from there, focus on actually finding that sweet spot. I tell you what, it wasn't my best strike, but it's actually just slightly high toe, just off centre, and I'm still on the fairway. Still on the fairway. It went pretty close to my start line because I haven't got the gear effect. As soon as I hit toe heel excessively, that ball is going to have a lot of curve on it. So just focus on trying to find the sweet spot. And our third and final tip that you can take to the golf course is actually letting the club head swing. It's called a golf swing for a reason. We're not trying to golf hold, which is what a lot of people do. They think, right, I'm going to hit this driver as hard as I can. I have got a slice. So what I'll do is I'll just swing my hands and hold the face. I won't let the club head swing, and we get this sort of position as we go through. Killer move. Killer move. That face stays open. We don't actually release any of the power that we've created in the backswing. We've actually got to let the club head start to swing. And I want you to just try and find that little bit of rhythm for me as you're going through. And all I simply want you to do by doing this, real simple thing that I think about, back to about halfway here, and imagine your hands can only travel half the distance that the club head is traveling. So look how far that club head travels back. My hands are barely just getting past my side here. Look how far it goes through. Just gets past my side. If I were to hold on and do the same, look how far that club does not swing. It's a very small swing, this, because I'm not letting that club head start to swing. And we've got to let that club head release down into the golf ball, because when we do this, not only are we releasing the speed that we create in the backswing and the force, but we're also letting the club face square up. And think back to tip number 2, if we're doing that, we've got a better chance of getting that lined up to the middle. If you're holding on to it, that heel's going to be coming in first. You might even glance even more and toe it, as we're letting the club head pass here, letting it swing, and you'll start to hear that little swoosh, we will start to get better drives. So we're going to couple all these three together. We've got perfect alignment. We have got trying to actually find the middle of the club face for once. And now I'm going to let that club head swing, and I should hit a pretty perfect shot. Little fade just down the middle. I'm taking it. I am taking it. And that is how we are going to hit better drives, guys. 3 simple things that you can take to the golf course. Remember to subscribe, hit the like down below if you've enjoyed that, and why not watch a video here that's going to help you around the greens.